Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the Studio Series Voyager class Optimus Prime figure from the Rise of the Beasts movie. So in a second we're going to open him up live, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. We'll then have a detailed look at him in both of his modes to help you decide how you want to display him. And then obviously with him being Optimus Prime, we've got an abundance of comparisons to do, including his last Studio Series appearance, his mainline Voyager version, his of course Generation 1, and to be honest there's just going to be so many, or as many as I can fit on the screen. Of course not all of them, but enough to give you an idea of how good he looks and displays with other figures. So as I start to pop these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if I'd hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. And the other is to thank In Demand Toys in the UK, which is where I purchased this from, and as you can see they got him to me nice, quickly and safely. And more importantly, he's available in the UK because obviously we don't have any Targets, and this is because unfortunately it's a buzzworthy Bumblebee exclusive, it's a Target exclusive. So the packaging itself is of course open box, not like the normal Studio Series though. We do have Optimus Prime on the side, but then we've got Primal, a cartoon Optimus Prime, a cartoon Bumblebee, and indeed RC on the bottom. Now this is of course a new mold, and you can see it's going to take 34 steps to transform. Let's get straight into this then, have a quick look at what's inside, and then of course we can move on to some first impressions. Now although it is a Studio Series, it's still got, yep, it's got a fake sort of scene at the back, and indeed it's got the real movie scene here. And of course that's from one of the scenes from the chase, I think, or the street party by the looks of it, that happened in Peru. We've got the instructions here. I'm just going to pop the box to the side. What I actually really like about this, look, he's actually filling this whole thing out. There's no big gaps at the bottom. There's a teeny bit of a gap at the top, but it's not too bad. He's held in there, his accessories are there. I'm going to set him free and come straight back to you. Okay then, so I've set him free from the packaging, and what we're going to do is some first impressions. This is literally just straight out of the box, so he might not be correctly transformed, but we have to have a look. To be honest, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought initially it might be a bit too grey, but it's not. And what I mean by that is maybe a little bit dull, or maybe not enough paint apps, but it really works. There's about 3 or 4 different shades of grey, from gunmetal, from silver, from reflective, from just the normal, I suppose, dark or matte, whatever grey you want to call it. It just really works. The colour scheme and the reflection there on the silver is fantastic. There's so much detail, moulding detail on all of this figure, which I suppose is what we come to expect now with Studio Series figures. You know, right on the shins there. The head sculpt as well looks really good. Hopefully yeah, that's doing it a bit of justice. You can see all the detail there on the faceplate. It's crazy. On the back, there's not too much kibble. There's borderline any gaps really, so that's good for a Voyager class. Again, I know you're paying a little bit more with it being a Studio Series, but it looks really good articulation wise. Head is on a ball and socket, so that'll go all the way around and look up and down. There is of course waist swivel, arms all the way around to the side at the shoulders, swivel underneath the shoulders, bicep flexion, wrist swivel, yeah, loads of it. Hip skirts enabling the legs to kick out to the side. Pretty much, yeah, way past that. That's a high kick he can do all the way. Nope, not all the way, that far back due to the skirt. Can we move that skirt up? No, that's a fixed skirt, but he does of course have a huge knee bend, ankle tilt and rock as well. And yeah, everything on him is looking far better than what I thought it would be. We'll do the proper posing on that back scene in a bit. The accessories again is a beautiful looking sword. I'm loving these reflective metallic looking accessories, and there of course is going to be the arm cannon attachment as well. So to be honest, first impressions, as I'm sure you can tell, very impressed with this figure. So for the rest of the video we're going to have a look at him now in his alternate mode, then come back for the robot, use his accessories, put him on display, and of course do some comparisons. Let's have a look at him in his truck then. Okay, then we're back, and as you can see he's already in his alternate mode. Quick apologies for no transformation process on this video. That is for a couple of reasons. The main one is to keep the length of this video down, and the other, with it being a brand new figure, is so that I'm not spoiling it for anybody who doesn't want to see it just yet. However, of course I will upload a tutorial video, so if you do want to see it you can see that as well. Now, mixed opinions on this, to be honest, but I'm quite lucky, let's be honest, that I don't display pretty much any of my figures in their alternate mode. From the front it looks great, from the side it looks looks reasonable from the back. It doesn't look very good at all. It actually reminds me of like an Authentics figure, because you've just got all this open sort of space here. Now I do remember them saying, I think in one of the interviews, or one of the things I saw on the TV, that they pretty much put all the budget into the rest of the truck rather than at the back, and it is very apparent, and it doesn't look great. I'm just being completely honest with you. The sword doesn't have to go there. I'm going to take it out in a second. You can see that is, funnily enough, his sword. It's just sort of fitting there out of the way, to be honest. And there's the arm cannon bit as well. The plus sides of it, it rolls really well, even though all the wheels just there weren't fully touching. It's got a full bull bar on it, which just looks great, and of course it's an actual licensed truck, so it does look from the front very much like it. It looks really good, and again, I suppose the silver parts there are popping really nice. The detail on the tires is good. That's just the fuel tanks. This just seems to be industry standard now for any prime mold, that these of course just fold out like that with no substance underneath it. It's not too bad. What I really like about it, and although you didn't see it in this, but if you've seen the movie, you can relate straight away. When he transforms in the movie, it looks like how the figure transforms, which of course is really good. I've just realised that's popped out there. Like the fact, and of course the brilliant homage to the original G1, that the arms do pop in there, and I just really like that, I suppose, purely because it's the homage to it, and it's nice to see that it does that on the movie as well. The truck itself, though, like I say, it depends which angle that you're looking at him from. Front is great. With regards to on this scene, unfortunately, because of the way it looks like the road's going and he's going up there, you should really be displaying it that way rather, which doesn't look great at all. It looks much better coming down the road like so, but I presume it's going to be much better for the robot mode. There's not really much else more to say about this particular mode. I said, oh, I'll just take the sword out just so I can show you without it being stuck in near enough in his tailpipe, but it's not. So that doesn't really make too much difference. All you get to see is that sticking over the top, and of course this as well. The main benefit, I think, for them is purely, as I say, that if you do want to display in this alternate mode, you haven't got to worry about putting these back in a box or putting them in storage. You can just store them on the figure like that. But to be honest, no, there's nothing else you can really do. I was looking at it, see maybe if you can attach it to the side, attach it anywhere else. It doesn't look like you can. And to be honest, there's not really much more to say about this particular alternate mode, apart from exactly what I've already said. Beautiful, okay, not so great. But there you go. I'm not going to be displaying him in this mode. I'm going to be displaying him in his robot mode, which we're going to come back with now, showing you how to use his accessories, how to store them, etc., and of course do them all important comparisons. Okay, then we're back for the final time with him in his robot mode. So let's have a look at how we can use his accessories and of course how we can display him. I'm just very quickly, because I want to get rid of this backdrop, just going to put him on there. I think only one person in the comments on one of these said that they actually use these. It just seems to me just a bit like a waste of money, to be honest. I just can't imagine, especially if you've got like 5 or 6 of these figures, the amount of space that this must take up would be crazy. And it's not as if you can put any other figures on top of him. Perhaps I'm being overly picky, maybe a bit pedantic, but I just think that these aren't necessarily needed anymore. You know, if they were just ever going to be maybe 1 to 10 figures, but of course we're up to issue number 102 already with this one, so I just don't think they're needed anymore. I'd just rather see the budget for these, instead of having these, rather go into maybe the figures. But again, you give me your thoughts on that as well, please, guys, because I just don't know anybody who uses it. And as I said, there's 102 Studio Series now, so I don't know anybody who's got enough room to do all of the backdrops anyway, and you can't fit more than one figure on it. Right, so let's have a look. One thing I've just worked out and found out during the transformation process, he's pretty much got a bit of an ab crunch as well. Even though it's a bit fake, it is of course for the transformation process, but if you don't go too far, you can actually get away with that. It doesn't look too bad, so I'd like to add that to the articulation point. Let's have a look at his arm cannon first and foremost. Now, I've got a sneaking suspicion, in fact, not a sneaky suspicion, I'm pretty sure looking at this. So that's how we do it, by the way. We open up the forearm guards, turn it around, there's a little tab there, and then of course there's a hole here. We're going to just connect that there, and to be honest, as predicted, look how small that is. It's not good enough. It should be bigger. Now I sound like I'm I don't want to badmouth the figure. I love the figure. That's just not big enough. That really isn't big enough, especially from, it's one of the most important things, or I suppose the first thing, I mean, from the first, you know, through trailers you've got, when he brings his arm up and all this big cannon comes around, and then you've got this little bit there. So unfortunately, when I first found out, obviously, that we're going to get the arm cannon, I thought, oh, that's great. I'm probably going to display him with that. I don't think I am, to be honest. Now, I just don't think it looks good. I pretty much imagine that we'll get a third-party company that will make an absolutely huge one, but for me, I don't think I'm going to be displaying that there. And I'm having a little look, because I'm pretty sure I can connect this to the back somewhere. I imagine, yeah, you can just put it in the back of the shin. In there. I'll have a look in a second. I was just thinking they must be able to store it, and I'm sure you can, because I've seen some of the pictures with it. Same with the sword. Yes, if you wanted to, you can pop that in the back. Where else is this going to go? There must be a tab somewhere. You can even, yeah, if you wanted to, you could put them in that. I don't know if that's where it's supposed to go, but that's probably where I'd put it, because I can't see a cutout to resemble that at the moment. Right, now let's have a look at this. Now, I'm pretty sure, again, I've had a little look at the instructions. There's a few ways that you can do this. You can, of course, pop the sword in his hand, which looks great. You can pop it on the side of his forearm via that there, which again looks reasonable, a little bit like the movie, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure that this is how it is in the movie. You've got this teeny little tab there, and you've got another little cutout there, so this can then go like that. And yeah, that's pretty much how it looks in the movie, isn't it? That's much better. That does look really good. Just a shame that there is only one, but of course we are going to get an axe coming with the Studio Series Leader Class Optimus Primal. That looks so much better. Really impressed with that. Really good. And I'm going to actually keep that there, to be honest. I'm going to work out what to do with this. Can you pop it like that as well, maybe? I don't know. It looks like the cutout on there. A lot of these things, if you're new to this channel, I just tend to ad lib. I just literally don't plan them. Don't do any I just look at pictures. I don't watch anybody else's reviews on them. I don't want it to taint my first impressions of these, and that's why they are honest first impressions. As I say, robot mode, look at this, it's stunning. You can't argue with how good this looks. It really does. And you can say that maybe I'm giving a get out of jail, but I only display in robot mode. Maybe the Nemesis, if I get her, she might be displayed in alternate, but as far as I'm concerned, this guy's looking great. So there's the last incarnation from the Studio Series. I liked this figure as well. This one's a bit taller, look, there you go, a little bit taller, a little bit more streamlined. This one just seems to be a little bit more chunky, a bit more torso sort of dominant. But again, you're going, you know, a couple of years at least. I think this is Studio Series 38, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's, you know, there's a good few years difference between these two figures. We've now, of course, got the same size but mainline, so much cheaper alternative, and you can really see now the difference. Again, old English saying, I say this quite a lot at the moment, you get what you pay for. At the end of the day, there's nearly £10 worth of difference, which is about $13 worth of difference between these two. So you can clearly see where the money's going. And again, I'm not too fussed, because I think it looks great. I think that one serves its purpose. Maybe this one can be displayed in truck mode if you're going to do that, but exactly that, they both sort of serve their purpose. Let's just bring up this one then, because this is, of course, the original G1, and it's a nice little homage to that. In all honesty, I think it looks good. And I really like the fact that the transformation brings the arms into the forearm, the front of the cab as well. The clever thing with this is, of course, again, you'll notice, same like this, there's no front, the other wheels are nicely tucked away, which is a brilliant little part as well. Right, let's bring up some more Rise of the Beasts figures then. So we've got a Bumblebee, which of course he's now towering above. Let me just reach and grab all these. This room's not as big as the last one, so I haven't got as much space. There's a mainline Optimus Primal, because of course the main one we haven't got yet. I think the good thing about the mainline is they definitely do stand in really, really well for now. And yeah, crazy fact, I don't know if you saw the interview I did with BMAC, the reason why they're releasing them at the same time is obviously because the movie was delayed. So the idea was to get all the mainline out for the first year, and then the Studio Series versions after. So that's why they've all come out at the same time. Just grabbing Scourge now, because of course that's the main one. You're going to want to see him up against. And as I've seen in the pictures, I mean, look how much bigger he is. He's massive compared to that. So in fact, let's get rid of mainline just for now and put the Studio Series figures in there. I'm not going to bring Freezer in and stuff, but look at the size difference with that. And again, as I've already said, you can see the detail difference in these. You really do get what you pay for with the Studio Series figure. They look great. Really impressed. Very quickly, just to give people an idea of size, that's a New Age. That's a Core class, in case you collect mainline. That's a Takara World's Smallest. He's not even going to fit in, so there's no point doing that. And I suppose that's about it, to be fair. Otherwise, I'll just bring out loads and loads of figures, and there's already too many here. But again, for posing, these are going to look great together. You've, of course, got the translucent and orange, which works in there. And they've both got these sort of giant blades, haven't they, that you can have a play around with. Put that in his hand, and then indeed do some crazily good displays, as I've knocked that off. Typical. Anyway, right, what I'm going to do, it's not about Scourge anyway. Let's take him out of the way. I'll save that for another video. I'm just going to bring him there, and to be honest, just end the video right there. Amazing looking robot mode. Alternate mode, not too good, but I think he's great. UK guys, check out In Demand, and of course Hasbro Pulse, because we don't have any targets anywhere. Hope you enjoyed looking at him, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care.